Yes, you don't have to look far to find Rider fans in Calgary, and there is now university-level research delving into it. It seems that fans of the Saskatchewan Roughriders Football Club are devoted enough and brave enough to endure all manner of ribbing here in Stampeders country. That conclusion comes from a trio of communication students at Royal Roads University, and tonight they are set to unveil their research on the significant Rider Nation community in the city of Calgary. Jill Hansen and Andrea Morrow are here to tell us all about it. Good afternoon, Rider fans.
Hello. Good afternoon.
I see that Jill is wearing her Rider jersey. Why did you want to do research on this particular topic, Jill?
Well, two of us are from Saskatchewan, so
shocking.
Naturally we thought, well, what better to study than the popular Rider culture here in Calgary. Both of our families are diehard Rider fans, so we had some really good participants right there, and we were tasked with taking something from the research realm and putting it into the popular culture. So it was just a really good opportunity to get it out into mainstream media.
All right, so this is serious research we're talking about here because you're being graded on it. You have to defend it. Andrea, walk me through how you did this study.
Perfect. So what was great about this project is it allowed us to get out behind our books and get out into the community and engage with Rider fans and actually Stamps fans and all those other CFL fans. So we basically dressed up in our Rider pride and we walked down the Red Mile basically to see what the public was, and we actually went to the Flames game as well. So being actually the green in the sea of red was a great experience, and just seeing the dialogue that happened and seeing what people's perceptions were and how people identified with Rider community.
And what did you hear from the fans, Jill?
Well, we got a lot of interesting reactions at the game. First of all, they said, you're at the wrong sport. You're wearing the wrong color. But I think with Rider fans, you're not ashamed to wear your heart on your sleeve with your team. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, season or off season. It's the perfect excuse to put on your jersey and represent the team.
And Andrea, it seems everywhere you go, half of Saskatchewan is now living in Calgary anyway. So what did you hear from those people when you were wandering around at a Flames game wearing green?
Well, we heard a lot of different things, but we really found that, it really is hereditary and it's historical. So you're born a Rider fan and you'll die a Rider fan, and it's in your blood. So that was the ongoing theme that we did find, and people are diehards. So they'd come up to us and, they'd rub our jersey and say, oh, we just have to touch the glory. And it really brings people together, and it's that Saskatchewan bond that really exists within, no matter what, even in a Flames game.
Well, there is a lot of rivalry, though, between the Stampeders and the Rough Riders. So what did you hear from the haters, Jill?
From the haters, I think the main message we heard was they were kind of jealous of our patronage and how many fans were diehards. And even at the Calgary games here, 3/4 of the stadium usually is filled with Riders, and there's even busloads that go to home games or games in Edmonton. So I think they're a little jealous of our hardcore fans.
And why do you think this is hereditary, Andrea? Because, I worked in Saskatchewan. I covered the Rough Riders. I've covered the Stampeders. Been across the CFL. Yes, Rider Nation is for real. Is it because you don't have an NHL team in Saskatchewan? Because all of the other cities have an NHL team.
Absolutely, and I think that came out too when we were talking with people. This is our only team. We stick together and we support them no matter what. Winning or losing, they're our team, and we all come together to cheer on our Riders.
Okay, Jill, this is serious science, so how do you keep your bias out of this science that's involved in putting together a research paper that involves your family as some of the subjects?
It's hard not to be biased, but I'm not one of those fans that, knows every single player on the team and the stats, so I can really look at it from both perspectives. I'm just really proud of the dynamic that goes on with these fans and the community that it creates and how people can come together. So it's mostly just sitting back and enjoying all the, seeing what the fans do and enjoying the community.
All right, so Andrea, when all is said and done, how long is this paper going to be, and what goes into defending it?
Well, actually, basically what we're doing now is, popularizing our research tonight at the Upper Deck Public House.
Wait a second, I love that. You're popularizing your research?
So that's a basic thing.
In other words, it's an excuse to party. Is that an academic term? Or popular? I have to remember that one. That's
we have a really good teacher.
I was going to say, so what's that going to look like?
So basically just showing a few of the things that we did. We did do a photo competition to see what it meant for people to be a Rider fan and some of the crazy memorabilia that they have, and telling the stories and narratives behind what does it mean to be a Rider fan and what's the everyday culture of being a Rider fan. So even right now in the off season, how do Rider fans identify with each other and what goes on even when there's no game going on?
And how did the whole watermelon phenomenon emerge? Because I remember the last Grey Cup here in Calgary. I mean, you could not get a watermelon when the Riders were here.
Absolutely. Well, there's lots of different stories that go on, and it's very, that goes back to, different stories as to who was the first person, but two guys wore it in either the Banjo Bowl or the Grey Cup in 1997, and it just became a phenomenon after that. So we actually have someone tonight that's coming that actually paints on a watermelon on his head. So we've seen everything and anything.
And now, did you explore the rivalries as well? Because you mentioned the Banjo Bowl. That would be the rivalry between the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Is that the most heated rivalry involving Rider Nation?
Well, we were just really looking into Calgary right now because that is our community. So we really wanted to focus on just the phenomenon right here in Calgary. So we didn't have a time to go into that. Maybe that's perhaps another research project. But
how about the rivalry with the Stampeders, Jill?
It's pretty intense. Like I said, there's a lot of haters, and I think the people that do hate, they're pretty vocal about it, but then other people are, really supportive, and, sometimes you even convince fans to go to the Rider side. Like, if you have a Stampeder friend and you bring them to a Rider game, they're switching over.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Jill Hansen and Andrea Morrow are students at Royal Roads University. They will be popularizing their research this evening at the biggest Rider Pride off-season party happening tonight at the Upper Deck Public House. The party starts at 5:30. And Jenny has traffic.
Just an update on northbound Crowchild Trail. It is now backed up to...